Some people are saying you changed. No, I ain't changed. The difference is God's opened my eyes. And now that he's opened my eyes, you know I can see you. And I can see that you're not for me the way you say you for me. The fact that he's a need assessor impacts his activity in two ways. It impacts if he does something. Watch this. But it also impacts the way he does it, if he chooses to do it. Because sometimes I like what you're doing, but I don't like the way. Did you hear what I just said? And an example, family, of what I'm trying to articulate is found in this passage right here in John 9. All I've been doing is preaching John 9. I hadn't quoted the text, but I've been preaching the text. All I've been doing, without mentioning John 9, is preaching to you everything that's in John 9. Because in John 9, we see a God who's omniscient. In John 9, we see a God who's immutable. In John 9, we see a God who not only meets needs, but we see a God who assesses needs. In John 9, we're allowed to eavesdrop on a conversation that Jesus has with a gentleman that goes unnamed. All the text tells us is he's a blind man. I'm not even going to bother that. But when I get to heaven and meet John, I'm going to ask John about that. Because Jesus didn't do that. John did that. John made a decision. I'm going to write about you, but I'm going to connect you to your issue and not your name. Did you hear what I just said on this side? He said, see, that's how some people will, well-meaning, well-intentioned, they will do you. They will only remember you by the issue that used to plague you. Watch this now. The text says, John says, there's a blind man. And this is interesting now because Charles Spurgeon teaches us this. He says, this is the way you need to read the Bible. Charles Spurgeon says, every physical and literal ailment in the New Testament is a metaphor for a spiritual or emotional ailment in our lives. And if you don't understand that, it'll be hard for you to see the meaning of miracles in Scripture for you. Are you following me? So when you see somebody lame or unable to walk or paralyzed in Scripture, it's a metaphor of being stuck in life. Did you hear what I just said? Yeah. When you see someone in Scripture who's unable to speak naturally, it's a metaphor for people who've lost their voice spiritually. I'm not going to bother this. Relationally. Professionally. When you see someone who cannot hear in Scripture, it's a metaphor for people that you can't get through to. People who will hear but not listen. And in order for you to get through to those people, you need God to open their ears. Sometimes it's not your presentation. Sometimes it's not your conversation. Sometimes it's not your timing. Sometimes you need God to do something in them before you can say something to them that will actually get through to them. I need to pause because I know all your relationships aren't perfect. I know every area of your life. I know there are some areas of your life where you need God to get through to people. Maybe our prayer should be, Lord, open their ears. Lord, open their ears. Curate a circumstance that makes them open to hear what they were not previously open to hear, and give me the wisdom so that when I see them in a circumstance that you're using to make them open, I don't rescue them from what they need. It's going to put them in a position for you to get through to them. He's a blind man, which means or metaphorically can speak to a person that's living life with no vision. Helen Keller is quoted as saying this, that Mississippi Miracle said, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight with no vision. He's living a visionless existence. The text says he's been blind since birth, which means he's never lived life with vision. So darkness is normal. Did you hear what I just said? Darkness is normal. He's been in darkness so long now he knows how to survive in darkness. He knows how to navigate his way through darkness. Darkness is all he knows, so darkness is normal to him. Because we can deal with darkness or dysfunction for so long that we become functional in the midst of dysfunction, not realizing that it's still dysfunctional even though I'm functional in it. Darkness. And here's the thing, I don't know if you've ever tried to walk around in the dark, but if you have, it increases the likelihood of injury. Did you hear what I just said? I said you can bump your toe or you can run into something with your forehead, because when you're operating with a visionless existence, it increases the likelihood of injury. And there are some injuries we've had relationally. There are some injuries we've had emotionally. There are some injuries we've had spiritually. There are some injuries we've had professionally because we were walking around in the dark. Might I tell you, some people like you better when you blind, because some people are saying you changed. No, I ain't changed. The difference is God's opened my eyes. And now that he's opened my eyes, you know I can see you. And I can see that you're not for me the way you say you for me. It causes injury. But watch this. I don't know if you walked around in the dark, but not only does it cause injury, it also inhibits acceleration. You don't go fast in the dark. Did you hear what I just said? You don't go fast in the dark. And some of us know what it's like to not move at the pace and at the speed and at the rate you've got the potential to move in. Your legs work, so you got the ability to do it, but your eyes don't, and so you can't see. And so, did you hear what I just said? And so you're wrestling with the reality of feeling like you're behind schedule because you've been walking around in the dark. But I believe at a change night, that's something that God can change. He can open your eyes, and when your eyes get open, you will experience acceleration. Somebody say acceleration. That means God can get you further faster. Joel put it this way: it is the redeeming of time. He buys back time. He doesn't give you more time. That's not redemption. He buys back old time. He takes, y'all missed it. Something took your time for you. God walks into the pawn shop and takes it back and says, I'm going to do more in the time you got left than you could have did in the time you wasted. He said, when I redeem 10 years, it means I take 1 year and I do for you in 1 year what you couldn't do for yourself in 10. Acceleration, 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 acceleration. And if acceleration is connected to my sight and not my conditions, then acceleration can happen at any moment. If acceleration is determined by some internal revelation and not some social condition, it means that it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic. It doesn't matter if gas prices are high. It doesn't matter if no one will help me. It doesn't matter if no one supports me. As soon as I can see, I can move. Did you hear what I just said? I said, as soon as I can see, I can move. I need somebody to just touch yourself and say, I see something. I see something. God must be getting ready to move some things in my life.